On today's episode of Claire Recreates, we are celebrating the fall season and we are making Hostess Iced Pumpkin Cupcakes, which has only been around for the last 5 years. And I didn't know it was a thing, but really it's a way of just like making the classic Hostess cupcake, but retooled for fall. My first impressions of the box are that it looks really good. I love pumpkin bread. I love anything pumpkin cake. And one thing that's great about pumpkin as a baking ingredient is it adds a ton of moisture in addition to flavor. So the idea of like a pumpkin cupcake sounds delicious to me. Do I think that it's gonna taste good out of the package? Probably not. It says iced pumpkin cake with creamy filling. Creamy filling. Visually very pleasing. I love the classic like Hostess cupcake look. Oh, they're so tiny. It's like a 3-bite little cake. Oh my God, you know what just hit me? Like intense artificial smell, like intense preservative smell. The cake is pretty moist, just like in my hands. Like it leaves like a little kind of like slight, not in a bad way, like greasiness. I do like the kind of texture of the frosting. Like it's set and dry, but not like brittle. Let's split it down the center. There's the cream filling. The color is really nice. I definitely get like a little pumpkin and like warm spice smell. The smell is better once you break it open. I would say it's only slightly pumpkin-y. Okay, makes my molars tingle because it's so sugary. Flavor-wise, the warm spice is kind of overpowering. It's better than I thought it was gonna be. It's very sweet. The cream filling doesn't really have any flavor on its own. It's just really the flavor of like icing, like just the texture of icing in the middle. Almost no flavor except for just sugar. My goal, which is my goal for most of these episodes, is to keep the look really similar, proportions as close to the original as possible, and just to make the flavor better. I'm gonna take measurements, but it doesn't really matter because I have one muffin pan. I have 2 muffin pans, but they're the same, and it's a standard size. So that's what I'm using. So let's just hope that's what this is. Top diameter, 6.5 centimeters. The bottom, 4.5 centimeters. It has that kind of slight dome in the center. Who's calling me? Potential spam. Let me get a height. The tallest point, 3.3 centimeters. The icing is about 2 millimeters thick. The cream filling takes up about 1/3 of the center of the cake. Okay, so then the piping of the cream is clearly done from the top of the cupcake, and that actually is contributing a little bit to the doming effect because it's like splitting it's like adding volume to the center. It's interesting. I wonder if it means the cupcakes actually bake really flat and it's just the like injection of the cream filling that's kind of causing a little peak in the center. Let's take a look at ingredients. Sugar, water, enriched flour, parentheses, bleached wheat flour, malted barley flour, niacin, ferrous sulfate or reduced iron, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, close parentheses, tallow, high fructose corn syrup, palm oil, soybean oil, contains 2% or less, pumpkin, modified cornstarch, egg, whey, mono and diglycerides, hydrogenated tallow, natural and artificial flavors, egg white, non-fat dry milk, calcium carbonate, inulin, salt, calcium sulfate, defatted soy flour, sodium acid, pyrophosphate, baking soda, fruit juice concentrate, and titanium dioxide, parentheses color, yellow 5 lake, yellow 6 lake, blue 1 lake, dextrose, sorbic acid, and potassium sorbate, parentheses to retain freshness, cottonseed oil, agar, glycerin, red 40 lake, blue 2 lake, cellulose gum, polysorbate 60, enzymes, monocalcium phosphate, guar gum, soy lecithin, locust bean gum, fumarg acid, disodium phosphate, sunflower oil, calcium caseinate, sodium caseinate, soy protein isolate, yellow 5, yellow 6. I am gonna disregard literally every single thing I just read. The tallow kind of is like a question, but it's like I'm not making this a tallow. I'm just gonna make a pumpkin cake. Also, one of these chemicals has to be the fake cinnamon, you know what I mean? Because it's like it didn't list cinnamon on here. But also there's the like very intentionally vague artificial flavors list. Natural and artificial flavors. It's like, what does that even mean? So I have a recipe in Dessert Person for a very delicious tea cake made with kabocha squash. And it's an oil-based cake, which is like very moist, And I'm gonna use that as my base recipe to create a pumpkin cake. I'm gonna add some some warm spice to it. That's gonna be my starting point. I'm gonna grab my cupcake pan. So I'm gonna do cupcakes, cream filling and filling, and then icing. Before we get into the recipe, I want to thank our friends at Cometeer for sponsoring this episode. Few things are more important to me in life than my morning coffee, especially on a shoot day. And Cometeer is completely changing the game, bringing you coffee from the best independent roasters like Onyx and Intelligentsia. It's brewed with precision, flash frozen in recyclable aluminum pods sent to your door. No machine required. One thing that never made sense to me is how am I supposed to have the wherewithal in the morning to weigh out the beans, grind them, heat the water, like do the whole process for making coffee without having had coffee first? And Cometeer really solves that problem. It's so easy. All you have to do is let it melt. And I love the versatility because depending on the weather or my mood, I can have it as an iced latte, just add a little ice and milk, or I can heat it up by adding 6 to 8 ounces of hot water and have my normal cup of hot coffee in the morning. Or you can just have it straight up espresso style. So it's light years ahead of anything else you can get from a pod. And when you're done, those aluminum pods can go right into your curbside recycling. The one I'm enjoying today is hot, and it's just amazing to have a cup of coffee that is basically ready in no time, but tastes like it came from the best cafe in your town. It's good. You can check out the Discovery Box. It features 8 unique coffees curated by world barista champ James Hoffman. You can get $20 off that order if you go to the link in the description below. It's cometeer.com/Claire Saffitz. And now we're gonna get back into the recipe, and I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna need to make one of these pretty soon. I'm gonna go right into my cupcake baking and my pumpkin batter. So I have a couple sugar pumpkins that I sourced knowing that this was coming up. And last night I roasted 2 of them. So I have plenty of pumpkin puree here, and I'm gonna get out my muffin pan and we gotta go. Vanilla, I need some spices. I got a couple of really nice cinnamons. I don't wanna do cardamom. I want a little nutmeg and a little clove. I think that'll be good. Clove, my nutmeg. I need a little neutral oil. I need baking powder. So the kabocha cake in Dessert Person has turmeric added to it, which is more of a color enhancer than a flavor enhancer, but I want to use that again here because I want to nail that like orangey brown, like deep color. And I think the turmeric is going to help. And it's not a very strong flavor. I know we have multiple things of turmeric, I just don't know where. Oh, you know what's cool? This is Chinese 5-spice. This has a little bit of star anise in it. Cinnamon, anise, cloves, ginger, and fennel. The turmeric. Oh, here it is. As a sweetener, I was gonna add a little bit of maple syrup, but maybe I don't wanna do that. I don't think maple flavor is gonna go. I think I'm gonna go brown sugar, white sugar. This is the pumpkin. What I did last night was I cut the sugar pumpkins in half. I scooped out the stringy, seed part and just roasted them cut sides down. There's like some liquid in here, and I want to get that out because the most important thing is I get good pumpkin flavor. And by roasting, I'll help to concentrate it and also kind of get rid of some of the more like vegetal notes in the pumpkin. I'm just gonna get it out on like a sheet tray and kind of dry it out basically. And also, I'm gonna prep my pan. I need to butter and flour the cupcake wells so that I can unmold them. The puree has been roasting, I don't know how long, 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so. I stirred it once. I'm pretty sure it's done. The idea was just to get rid of some of the moisture and to kind of develop the flavor a bit. I'm gonna pull it out, let it cool. Oh God, huge blast of steam in my face. See how it's darkened in color a little bit? This looks really good. I'm gonna set that aside. Across the bottom on the outside of the pan, it's 5 centimeters. This feels like it came from a standard size muffin tin. I want to be careful about not overfilling. I think that's really important. But okay, let me get myself together. Montage. I wish that montages were real and that in like 30 seconds I just had everything done. You know what I mean? Baking powder, some kosher salt. I'm gonna do a half teaspoon of turmeric, a half teaspoon of 5-spice. I love using spices that are generally like a savory spice. I love using them in like sweet baking. And then a half teaspoon of just regular cinnamon. So that's all my dry ingredients. I'm gonna get a cup of my roasted puree. I need a half cup of oil. Just because in the interest of not forgetting, I'm gonna add a little vanilla to the oil. So that's kind of my wet ingredients. And now let's do the sugar. I'm gonna do 3/4 of a cup of white sugar, which is 150 grams. Then I'm going to use dark brown sugar and do a 1/4 cup. So now I'm gonna grab a bowl and a whisk and start to put all of this together. So I'm gonna start with my 2 eggs, and these are at room temp, and I'm gonna add my sugar. So I start by whisking these together. And I'm gonna whisk until this is very smooth and like a little bit pale and a little bit increased in volume. So I'm just gonna work a little bit of air into it. The cake itself, it's not particularly dense, but it's also not particularly light. With the baking powder that's in here and the fact that it's an oil-based cake, I think the texture is gonna be pretty similar. So now I'm gonna stream in my oil. The idea is that it's gonna slowly emulsify with my egg and sugar mixture. Oh, you know what I wanna do? My oven is still on 425 from the puree. I'm gonna change it to 350 for baking the cakes. This mixture has gotten quite a bit thicker from emulsifying the oil into the eggs. Think of it like a sweet mayonnaise, sort of. Same idea. It's a cold emulsion. So now I'm gonna whisk in half of my dry ingredients. Then whisk in that pumpkin puree. At first I was thinking maybe I was gonna use a hand blender and like blend the pumpkin so that it's really smooth, but just from whisking it got pretty smooth, and like no texture is gonna translate into the cake. It's just gonna kind of disappear into the crumb as it bakes. Okay, and then the remaining dry ingredients. It already has a really nice orange color. And as the flour mixture hydrates and the turmeric kind of absorbs liquid, I think it's gonna intensify the color. I'm gonna grab a scoop. That's gonna help me portion out the dough into the muffin tin in a way that like is consistent and I don't overfill, because I almost always have an urge to like fill more than I should when it comes to making cupcakes or muffins. I'm not gonna use all the batter, so if I needed to bake another batch, I think that I could.
You're gonna do them all in case it works?
Yeah. What do you mean in case it works, Cal?
Yeah, okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead, fill all 12, and then get them in the oven, which is on 350. I need to level these, and rather than using a spoon, I'm just gonna try to use the countertop and give it like some good taps. These are gonna go into the oven. I bet I'm gonna smell it, but I'll check it after like 12 minutes. So I'm gonna pull the cupcakes out. They went 11 minutes. Obviously they domed quite a bit, and thinking now to my kabocha tea cake recipe, that makes sense. And one of the reasons they dome a lot, which is actually a desirable thing for most cupcakes, is there's a lot of contact with the pan. Like smaller things will tend to dome more because there's like a lot of conduction. I didn't anticipate that, so I'm gonna drop the oven temp. If you do a lower oven temp, that tends to prevent doming. Happens because it sets around the sides quickly, and then the batter doesn't rise on the sides, it just rises in the center. And I'm gonna also add a little bit liquid. If you decrease the proportion of flour, that will also help to flatten out the cakes. So I'm gonna drop my oven temp to 300. I'm gonna add a little liquid, but first let's just kind of take a look and taste and just see if there's anything else I wanna add. The color is definitely not as like brown, weirdly. It's like very orange, but that's fine with me. It's not super sweet, which is good. I maybe get like a little bit of a chemical leavener taste, a little bit, but I think if I add some liquid to this, it's gonna help to neutralize that a little bit. The spice is a little, is there, but it's not so overpowering. I think it's really good. It smells great. This is just a batch we're gonna snack on. I'm gonna get them out, prep the pan again, adjust my batter, get batch number 2 in the oven. And then we'll take a little coffee break, a little afternoon. What do they call it? 11s? Is that like a British thing? What I'm talking about?
I'm not British.
So unfortunately, I can't be too precise about this part because it's not like I'm adding liquid to the whole recipe. I'm adding it to an unknown portion. So I'm just gonna thin this out until the consistency is liquid enough that like the surface of the batter settles on its own. Does that make sense? I did a little heavy cream, and I'm gonna do a little bit of milk, call it half and half. Should I get this in a bigger bowl? I definitely should. Am I going to? No. I think I'd touch more. I think this looks good. So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna fill all 12 cupcakes with my 1 ounce measure here, and then I'm gonna go back and add that kind of like 3/4 ounce to to make them a little bit more filled than the last time. So these are gonna go into my oven, again, 300. They're gonna take longer to bake. I'll check after 15 and keep an eye on it. Now, let's see, it's 3:30 on the dot, which means we're gonna have a little team coffee break. Medium blend, this one sounds good. So I'm gonna get out a couple of the Cometeer capsules. This one is from Proud Mary Coffee Roasters. Who wants hot and who wants iced? I'm gonna have iced. Iced. I didn't thaw them overnight. I'll grab 3 pots. I'm gonna get these in a little warm water. It's nice to be able to thaw it quick. All right, I think we're melted here. It smells so good. I remember as a kid thinking like, there is no better smell in the whole world than coffee. I still don't think that's true. You guys tell me when for the milk. Ready? Vince, this is you.
Okay.
That's it? That looks pretty tasty. Okay, Cal, ready? Tell me when.
That's good.
It's like very Goldilocks. It's like Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and this is gonna be Baby Bear. I like more milk. Oh, it looks so good.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Seriously tastes like delicious lattes. It's very good. Don't you think it's very good? Tastes like a fancy iced latte.
Yeah. Delightful, right?
Tastes like fall.
It does taste like fall. The cupcakes are done. These went above the 20-minute mark. I stopped the timer, so I'm not sure, but maybe like 20, 25 minutes. Definitely more filled than the last time. I'm gonna pull them out. There's this like really gentle peak on the top of some of them. We can address that during the filling phase, I think. So these are nice and springy to the touch. Are they a tiny bit underdone? I don't think so. After a few minutes of cooling, I cut around the sides of the cakes just very gently to loosen with the offset spatula. They deflated a little bit, which in my mind might be good because they looked a little tall when they came out of the oven. So I'm gonna try to get them onto a wire rack. See how they look. Ah, that guy fell. Let me turn them over so they don't get too much of an indentation. Here's the problem. They feel and look really dense. So I think I probably threw the leavening off a little bit when I added the liquid. I was fully prepared just to roll with it, but I can tell from the way, maybe I underbaked them a little bit. It's a little gummy. Just by adding that liquid, I threw it off a little bit. It's like so close though. Yeah, okay. It's gummy. What do I do?
Let's try it.
You can see the texture difference.
God.
You know, I can always depend on you to take my problem and exaggerate it.
It's like Jell-O.
It's not like Jell-O. Do I have to roast these pumpkins behind me? Because I'm going to be annoyed.
How long does it take to roast the pumpkin?
Longer than I'd like. This should roast. I'll check it after 30 minutes. I'm going to cross-reference this with my mom's pumpkin bread recipe, which is really good, and just get a sense of like liquid leavening balance. Oh, here it is, mom's recipes. It was like around the time I graduated from college, I went through her recipe box and typed up a bunch of ones that I liked. It does have liquid. It has water added to it. Interesting. Hey, look, I could have said that was great, but I didn't. Okay.
Doing it again. Well, it's Groundhog's Day.
Yep.
Again.
Also a movie I have not seen.
What? You've never seen that?
No.
Oh my goodness.
There's a lot of Bill Murray
Get
movies
on
I've never seen.
Letterboxd. Come on.
I would love to get on Letterboxd, but I'm too busy with this stupid episode.
Excuse me?
Look, I have a lot of things I could be doing right now. I would love to be shopping for wallpaper, okay, and bathroom tile. Tiles are really expensive.
How's your pumpkin looking?
It's not ready yet. I'm all prepped for the batter again. I'm just waiting on the pumpkin. My pan is prepped. Feeling good about that. I'm gonna make the filling, and that's gonna work. right? I gotta soften some gelatin. I'm following basically exactly the recipe that I used for the marshmallow filling for oatmeal cream pie for that episode. It's kind of like an all-purpose cream filling for this whole category of like store-bought cream-filled desserts and cakes that don't actually have, it's not actually cream. And I like it because it's a combination of corn syrup and egg white. So it has that like, it's a very like classic meringue marshmallowy kind of texture and flavor. So I'm gonna cook the sugar corn syrup mixture until I get to 240 Fahrenheit. And this is the same process for making marshmallows. It's like you have this sugar syrup, you have the egg white, I have gelatin. I'm gonna melt the gelatin into the syrup and then pour it into the egg whites and whip everything. And it's gonna have a kind of like marshmallow fluff texture, and I'm gonna add a little vanilla paste just for flavor. It's just one egg white. I added a little pinch of salt and a little bit of lemon juice because I ran out of cream of tartar. So that little bit of acid helps to stabilize the egg white. Okay, I'm at 235 according to this. Let's turn you off. Let's check the temp for real. 235, 236, 237, 239. Okay, so I'm gonna kill the heat. I'm going to scrape in the gelatin, get that melting. This is going to stream into my egg whites. I want to just keep whipping this until it's like very light and fluffy, and then I'm going to add a hit of vanilla paste. And I'm just going to keep beating until the bowl is cool to the touch. All right, so and now the pumpkin is done. I'm gonna get this in my pastry bag. This is like a marshmallow spread. My pumpkin is done. It should cool, it doesn't have to cool too much. It doesn't have to be like totally room temp, it should just cool a bit. This is the leftover double roasted pumpkin. If I add this to the fresh, I might have enough. And then that other half of pumpkin I can save. Ooh, I'll make a little baby food out of it. How about that? Here I have a cup of my puree. So now I'm gonna add the pumpkin, and I'm gonna do a slightly different mixing method compared to the last time because I have this extra liquid that I'm adding in the form of milk. Half the dry, then I'm gonna add the milk, then the other half of the dry. This looks good, and in the interest of not having to wash a lot of dishes, I'm gonna grab the big scoop that I thought was too big, and I'm just gonna underfill it, which I guess is kind of the opposite of the point of a scoop, but that's where we are today. Except for, did I put all of them in here? I sure did. It's okay. Jeez.
Did you like the temperature you were at though? 300?
Yeah, 300 was good. 300 helped them to bake nice and flat. Feeling very good about this. I want to level the tops. One thing you can do is like spin a pan. It works better if it's circular. All right, let's get these in the oven, 300. I'm hoping they're gonna bake nice and flat, gentle dome, not dense and gummy. I think this will do it. So in 15 minutes, I'll check. And hopefully we're gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? Just in the interest of time, I'm gonna start measing out the ingredients for the icing. I'm gonna grab a little sour cream. This is gonna add obviously some tang and just like a little bit of substance that's like something other than just sugar, because I don't want it to only taste like sugar. This part I'm gonna eyeball. This is not like a very technical recipe. It's really just a powdered sugar icing. I'm gonna add just a pinch of salt and a dash of vanilla extract. Extract, not paste, because I don't want the seeds in the icing. I'm just gonna do like splash of corn syrup. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Splash of corn syrup, splash of water. I don't even really need to boil this. I just want to get it kind of hot and like steaming, kind of just below boiling. I'm going to grab my whisk. So this just came up to about a simmer. So I'm going to add this to my confectioner sugar. Should I have sifted this? Possibly. Yeah, I definitely need more confectioner sugar, but before I add that, I'm going to add my sour cream. The way I look at it is it's kind of like adding milk and butter plus the tanginess, and both of those are ingredients that I want in my icing. And it's just gonna help offset a lot of the sweetness. And it's also gonna add a little bit of like that opaque white color that I want. Although theirs is not bright white. It's like a little beige, which actually is good because mine's gonna be a little beige too because I added that vanilla extract. Please don't ask me for this recipe. I have no idea what quantities of anything I used. So I'm gonna continue to add confectioner sugar until I get the consistency that I want, which is opaque, thin enough to pour, but thick enough that it's gonna coat like the back of a spoon. Okay, definitely too thin still. Let's see. It gives a little bit of like cream cheese frosting because of just the slight tanginess from the sour cream. Yeah, I kind of actually want like a little bit more of that. It's good. It's much tastier than kind of your average like confectioner sugar frosting, which is not that tasty. So the idea here is that this is going to harden and kind of set. I think it's a little bit thin still, and you can always adjust the consistency when it comes time to coat the cupcakes by thinning it or adding a little more sugar to thicken. I think this consistency looks good. See if it needs a little more vanilla. I mean, obviously it's like insanely sweet because it's made of powdered sugar, but the tanginess is nice from the sour cream. I think that's really good. I'm gonna set this aside. I should really cover it so it doesn't dry out too much. So let me do that. There you go. I'm gonna turn out my cupcakes. The size looks good. The color looks good. They don't feel so incredibly dense. So I'm feeling good about that. I want to do a little bit of trimming. I had like a little bit of a lip of baked batter from when I spun the pan. I'm gonna cut that off. They smell really good. So these are, I would say, less domed than the first batch, more domed than the second batch, but I can live with that. I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that I have the domes and use it to create a hollow space for the filling. I'm gonna take my knife. I'm gonna cut off the kind of biggest part of the dome, the most pronounced part, the muffin top, if you will. I'll use this little round measuring spoon. I'm gonna take out the center third of the cupcake, give it like a little scoop, and then I'm gonna also scoop out some of the dome, like the crumb from the dome, and then when I put it on, I'll be able to put it on flatter, right? Doesn't that look flatter? I'm gonna fill it, put the lid on, dip it. If I like the way it looks, I'm just gonna do all of them. I think I like the amount of like coating, like how thick it coats it. It's not the flattest surface, but I think that's good enough. I'm gonna keep going and do the rest. I might try to drizzle it over the top rather than dip. I have a huge amount of this white icing left. It's maybe the problem with not measuring. So what I'm gonna do for the squiggle needs to be a very, very, very stiff icing. I'm gonna take some of the existing icing. I'm going to add to it some turmeric and more powdered sugar to make something. It needs to be so stiff that it completely holds its shape. And the turmeric is to try to get something a little bit orange. I'm gonna look for a little beet powder or maybe even some hibiscus powder to try to get it a little bit darker. Like that color is not bad. I mean, it's orange, which is good. And now I'm gonna add a little more confectioner sugar. And I really just need a very small amount because the squiggle is not a large volume at all. It's like a little thick. Oop, hello, I overshot it. I think it's a pretty like acceptable orange color. Not bad. I'm gonna see if I can get it a little bit darker. Is this it? Yes, beetroot powder. And I'm gonna put like, seriously, just like a drop or two of water. That color is not bad. For considering it's all natural coloring from food, I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna get it into a pastry bag and I'm gonna start piping. This is such a tiny little, oh my God. Oh my God, okay. I wanna do a quick practice, but I also don't wanna waste any. I'm just gonna go for it. So I'm gonna get these set up in rows and I'm gonna just pipe the squiggles like all the way across the row without stopping. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Not bad. They look great. I want to let these set and I need to do like a cleanup before I feel totally out of control in like my whole life. Sometimes if you just push through, it comes together. They look pretty good. Very cute, definitely homemade. but overall pretty good. The color, the orange color is actually better than I thought it was gonna be. I wanna let these set a little bit more, dry. I wanna do a cleanup. Every single thing in the kitchen's covered in a thin layer of powdered sugar, so I'm gonna like de-stickify everything, and then we will taste. Oh boy, okay, so they're not fully set, but it's good enough. Something about the squiggle like distracts the eye enough that you kind of like don't pay as much attention to the like line where I cut off the top. But they're really fun, and I do like that we achieved this kind of, it's like a little more muted, but this pretty close orange color with the turmeric and the beet powder. My guess is that the whole thing is gonna be pretty sweet because of the icing and the marshmallow, but I'm hoping that I get some like good pumpkin flavor in there. That color is kind of like that. If you combined the colors between that one and that one, I feel like you get the picture. What I like about mine compared to theirs is that a little bit of corn syrup in the icing keeps it pretty glossy in a way that's like a little more appealing than I think the kind of matte finish on their version. It's better than I thought it was gonna be. It's actually really good. Something weird happened. Like it weirdly came together in a way. It's kind of greater than the sum of its parts. Like it's very tasty. One of the things that is more pronounced than I thought it would be is the kind of sour cream in the icing. It really does kind of moderate the sweetness, and it does give that like cream cheese frosting kind of flavor. By the way, the icing coating thickness is really nice, like very similar thickness. I think what ends up happening is the cake is less sweet, and then you have the sweet marshmallow and the sweet icing, and it ends up actually enhancing the flavor of the cake. Like because sugar is a flavor enhancer, it actually like really benefits from the little boost of sweetness. I would not see that coming. Now I'm feeling really good about this. I think I was feeling like, okay, the cake could have been a little bit flatter. Visually, maybe it could have been a little bit just like neater, but flavor-wise, I actually feel like I totally nailed it. And it's kind of delicious, and now I feel better about it. And I'm pretty excited.
Would you say that coffee helped your mood?
When does coffee not help my mood? Coffee definitely helps my mood. Coffee is my mood. I had a whole roller coaster of emotion during this episode. You know, it's funny. It's one where like the ingredient list told me absolutely nothing, but in a good way, because it's like I just made the thing I wanted to make, and I made like a pretty tasty little pumpkin tea cake and a little kind of like tangy icing and delicious. And I think that when you look at the picture, it's like this is what you want that to taste like. So very happy about it. I want to thank our friends at Cometeer for sponsoring this episode. At 3:30 p.m. this afternoon, when I had basically done nothing, the coffee really kicked in and helped save this episode. So I want to thank them. If you want $20 off your starter pack, you can go to cometeer.com/Claire Saffitz or click the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And happy fall.